So this is something that I say all the time, all my friends. We say, what's the tea?
Ladies and gentlemen and non-binary friends, welcome back to the IDK with JK podcast.
Hi, Earthlings.
Guys.
That's my new thing. I'm calling you all my Earthlings.
Guys.
Joe
Biden's president.
Did you know? Have you heard?
Joe Biden is our president.
Kamala Harris is our VP.
Our queen. Cheers to that. Cheers to that.
Cheers for our coffee because it's 9 a.m. when we're recording.
And do you want to tell them why we're up so early recording right now?
Yes, because Kay and I are about to meet a new friend of ours. Her name is Lara O'Reilly.
Oh my goodness.
She
Miss O'Reilly.
Miss O'Reilly. She resides in the United Kingdom right now, currently in London. So we have to wake up a little bit early because they have a time difference.
But I don't care.
Not at all.
I do not care.
Not for Laura.
And so this episode will feature her.
Yes.
We will jump into that in a little bit, but right now I think Jeff and I just kind of want to catch up with you guys. I feel like it's been a while since we've talked with you.
We always do a little weekly check-in.
Yeah. So I mean, Joe Biden, thank goodness, is our president.
God.
And so it's funny, actually, on Saturday when he got president, I was like, that's amazing. Jeff was in Cold Spring. So, and then Lily was here with her boyfriend. So I was here, and then my mom texted me that I should go out and celebrate because in the city, there was marching. There was, I don't want to say protest, but there were people marching down.
It was peaceful protest. It was protest.
It was like a peaceful, happy protest kind of thing. So I decided to change really quick, grabbed my GoPro, and ran out to the streets. So I had... so if you want to see some GoPro footage on Saturday, I'm going to put something up. So it'll be up on my page by the time you hear this. So go follow me at KAY__Prince.
Didn't you already post some stuff?
I already posted some pictures and videos, but what I'm going to do is pull together all the videos I took and make it like a little short TikTok, film. Like a TikTok or reel. Film, yeah. So I'm going to post that just because I think, that's history.
And it's cool.
It's history. And so it was really cool. I was on the front line or right in the front of the protest or march.
I was so jealous that I wasn't here because Kay was sending me all these pictures in our roommate group chat. And I was in Cold Spring sitting watching a TV show with Jackson. I was like, I really wish I was in New York City right now.
It was so cool. And like when we were walking down 7th Ave and we were walking and it was just, I've never seen a community come together. Like I will say New York City came together when the death of George Floyd happened. I was at BLM protests. I went to a lot of them. And that was a really united front. I mean, we were all standing for something. I literally have chills down my body as I'm talking about this. We stood for something that we believed in. And it was so fun to come together with a community that was just, it felt like there was weight lifted off of our shoulders.
And it's really cool because you don't know anybody.
Guys, like I went alone. I went alone and I felt comfortable, and I was like, being in the LGBTQ community and just there were pride flags everywhere, and I mean I had tears coming down my eyes because it's over, it's done. I mean it's not officially over, it'll be done in January, but we did it, and this is the first step into the right direction. And just like Kamala Harris said, like she ain't gonna be the last woman VP.
Nope.
So
she's the first, not the last.
The first, not the last. And I think it just shows our country the right direction that we need to be heading in. I will say, though, last kind of election talk, how did 71 million people vote for Donald Trump? That is something that I'm still wrapping around my head. And they walk among us. They're like aliens. They walk among us. We don't know who they are until election.
But now you can't sniff them out because they don't have their fucking Trump flags anymore.
They're not like what is that? I should
stop swearing. I'm so sorry.
Like, what is that? Yes, I saw some Biden stuff, but like Trump supporters were like,
how have y'all's weeks been? What did you guys do this week? Tell us what you did.
Can you tweet us at us?
I want more.
We need
Twitter and Instagram engagement from you guys.
Yeah, like just tweet us. Like something that we're going to start doing on Twitter is just kind of asking you questions on what you want to hear us talk about. Maybe some different guests. Like we'll ask like what kind of industry you want to hear from.
Or like if we know what we're talking about, we could ask you guys for questions.
Yeah, and like honestly, something that we want to start doing at the end of each episode is have 5 to 10 minutes to your guys' questions. So if you DM us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, whatever it may be, tweet us a question and we'll shout you out and we'll answer it. And also, if you ask us a great question, that might turn into a whole episode.
Right.
You know, because we want to hear, like, we know what we want to talk about, but we also want to hear what you want us to talk about.
Because this is kind of for you guys as well.
Exactly.
Like, we are doing this for us, of course, but we are doing this for you, and we want to know what you want.
And also, hopefully Jeff's okay with me saying this.
Oh, God. Hopefully.
So we're going to start something very soon. We're going to start a weekly webcast. I'm calling it a webcast because that's what they called it in iCarly.
Should you call it a live stream? Is that what that is?
It's like a live stream webcast. It's something that I don't think really exists right now. Like, I don't know anyone that does it.
Like a live show?
Like a live, yeah. So, like, what we're going to do is we're going to start, I don't know exactly when this launch date is. We're going to get everything set up this week. But once a week, we want to have like a 20-minute live on either Instagram or YouTube. Go subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Please. It's IDK with J&K. I just created it. All our episodes are up.
Perfect.
So you can get caught up there.
Awesome. And so, yeah, so we're going to start doing that. And it's going to be called Happy Hour with J&K. Grab a drink. Grab a blunt if it's legal in the state you're in. If you are the age of 21.
Please. Also, which is going to be fun is like you're kind of going to get to hear from us twice a week.
Yes.
So it's not going to be on Thursday at 5 o'clock
because
that's when you should be listening to our episode.
Period.
Hint.
Period.
But maybe like
wink, wink.
On a random Tuesday, Kay and I are like, you know what? Let's go live stream and get a cocktail and talk to the people. Yeah, and
it's just going to be kind of fun. It's just going to be us drinking and then you guys getting to know us, chat with us in the live stream.
And it's a lot more informal.
Yes, it's not going to be... We might even have like Lily join us a couple times. So, and what we're going to do is it is going to be a video. So we're going to set that up in our living room. We're going to have our mics, you know, we're just going to be on our couch hanging out. But I think this will be something very fun. I am in love with the show.
Trixie Mattel and Katya. I don't know how to say Katya Zamachkova, whatever the hell your name is. You. Katya, you're a queen.
Katya.
I wish she was listening.
Guys, I hope you know Jeff's and I goal. Our goal in life, our goal for this podcast. I mean, we have a lot of goals. I think we want them on this podcast.
I will do anything.
I will pay any amount of money to have you.
Arm.
You can have my arm. You can have my leg.
You can have Kay's leg and you can have my arm.
You can have me.
Forever.
I'll just live in your basement.
I just want 45 minutes with you on that.
I just want... So, anyway, getting back to it. We love that they do that YouTube show called... If you haven't seen it, I don't know what you're doing. Go watch it.
It's hilarious.
Right
it's
now.
On YouTube.
But it's on YouTube. But we wanted to do that with a mix of going live because we love that kind of interaction with our fans. So I'm very excited to announce this. Yeah, Happy Hour with J&K. It will start probably in 2 weeks or so. But we're going to get it set up this week. But go follow us on our Twitter and Instagram, IDK with JK. And we'll update you guys there with all of that information.
Yeah. And Kay and I's both personal socials are on our IDK socials.
Exactly, yeah. So
you can find us there.
You go follow us. I'm pretty fun on Twitter.
Kay is like Twitter crazy and I'm Instagram crazy.
Yeah. So if you want, like I will say my Twitter is a mix of like personal and work. So if you're interested on what I do for work-wise, go follow me there and chat with me because I do a lot of fun marketing stuff and that you can see on my Twitter.
Twitter's a little different.
Jeff uses his Twitter for fun. And I think that's great.
It's a lot of fun on there.
And I have fun too, but sometimes, you know, I use
a lot more
something that we'll dive into in the interview today is build your personal brand.
Yeah.
And I built my personal brand on Twitter with this, which kind of the same thing with this podcast idea is like, I'm 23, like I'm young, like I want to have fun, but I also know how to be professional. So we're teaching you how to be a professional savage.
Guys, okay. We keep saying this over and over again. Professional savage. So I think
we've been blabbering enough.
We want to get into the guest. We want to get into Lara.
Special guest.
You guys want to hear from Lara?
Okay, and so fair warning. So she is in the UK, which I love. So that was the time difference. We did say that.
Yes.
We had to do this over Zoom. I mean, because she's also halfway around the world, but also because of COVID, and we are taking that very seriously. We did record this over computer. So, you know, the sound is good and stuff, but just beware. It's guys, give
We're
us a
still
break.
learning, okay? You need to cut us a little bit of
Well,
break.
and, you know, like, we had to do it over computer. So this quality might not be the best, but we are very excited. So here is our interview.
With Lara O'Reilly.
Miss O'Reilly.
Let's just jump right in, and I would love for you to introduce yourself to our listeners and just give us a little about you.
Hey, I'm Lara O'Reilly, and I'm soon to become the media and advertising editor at Business Insider.
Wow.
Oh my
Good
gosh,
for you.
guys, welcome. Oh my goodness, we are so excited to have you on our podcast.
This is so fun.
Yeah, we're very excited.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about how you got to Business Insider, what led you there, why you chose it, you know, things like that.
Cool. Okay. Well, funnily enough, it's actually I'm returning to Business Insider. I was actually there about 6 years ago when we launched in the UK. It's quite funny actually. Facebook the other day threw up, like, you know, the memories thing. It threw up a photo from the day that we officially launched in the UK, and there were 8 of us, and we were in this horrible office where you had to climb 3 flights of stairs to get there, and it was super echoey. And like the water was like barely worked, and anyway, so it's very funny to see kind of how much has changed since then. I think there's, to say, there were about like 8 of us in that photo, and I think there's literally 80 people in the UK there now.
Wow, that's some growth.
Yeah, and they're going like great guns just globally, really, and obviously especially in the US.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I did a journalism degree at university. I went to, you probably won't know it, but Kingston University, which is just outside of London in Surrey. And then I took on a kind of like entry level reporting job at Marketing Week. So that's when I kind of really started writing about the media and advertising industry. And it was quite funny. I think just by virtue of the fact that I was the youngest person there, I was put on the kind of tech beat. Like, you know, Facebook was just coming into its own at the time. And I don't even think Snapchat had been invented yet. But it was that beat that I landed upon, which was really great because it's still, I think, the most interesting beat in this kind of sector. And then then what happened? Then I went to Business Insider and I basically back then was the advertising desk. There was nobody else covering advertising in the world. It was just me. And I was there for a couple of years, maybe 3 years. And then I went to the Wall Street Journal, and I was writing there. It was kind of like a column, like half column, half newsletter. Like CMO Today was a daily email that went out all about the kind of interesting twists and turns of the marketing ad industry. And I was reporting there as well. There for a couple of years. And then I took a brief kind of break from reporting for a bit and did some video producing work, went to Yahoo Finance.
Awesome.
And then, yeah, it was good. It was, I was producing a series which is all about impressive, inspirational women in business. So we got some really great interviewees on that, and that was a really fun thing to do. And then I went to DigiDay, which is like a media advertising trade title. Really, really, really strong journalism, really strong editorial team there. Went there to do some more reporting. And then as of this time next week, I will be back at Business Insider as their media and advertising editor.
You're excited to go back?
I am, yeah, really excited. As I say, like, it's clearly changed a lot in the time that I've been away. It's grown so much. It's doing some great journalism. Yeah, I'm just super excited. It's really fun working across lots of different beats as well. You've got the opportunity to team up with other reporters who work on different beats and do things together. So very, very excited.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's amazing. Did you always know that you wanted to go into this kind of reported journalism, or was it something that just kind of plopped into you, or what kind of happened there?
I guess even when I was younger, and I mean really young, like 9 years old or something, I was an only child, by the way, so I did like lots of geeky things because I had no one to play with. But I used to make like little newspapers at home, like mock up front pages and just make up stories about the neighborhood or whatever. Fortunately, I mean, thank God I didn't like distribute it anywhere because it'd have been incredibly embarrassing to dig up. But I was always kind of interested in, it was kind of writing first. I really enjoyed writing. And then And then also, I guess I used to like things like Enid Blyton, like The Secret Seven and stuff like that. I like the kind of detective side of the reporting role as well. So those things kind of merged together. And then, decided to go for a journalism degree when I had the chance.
And just so our listeners know too, university is technically our college in the U.S.
Oh, yes, yes. Sorry. Yeah, college. Yeah, I'm talking about college.
College is high school.
How does your school system break down? If you
it can differ between just some schools different, but you have primary school, which is from the age of 5 to 11-ish.
Okay.
And then from there you go on to high school. And then I went to a thing called sixth form. I don't even know why it's called sixth form actually, but where you did your A levels. I'm not sure what the equivalent is in the US, but like 2 years of kind of like hardcore studying and exams, and that's the 2 years prior to you going to university.
Okay.
College.
University is great. Actually, that's funny that you say that we're talking about university. So we wanted to have a little fun with you. I'm sure you saw in the PDF. We wanted to talk a bit about US slang versus UK slang and just have a little fun. I think that would be something very unique.
I'm very curious.
Yeah. So we have a couple words that we're going to give you, and we can use it in a sentence, but we're going to see if you can tell us what they mean in the US.
I'll try.
Okay. So do you want to start off with this first one? Okay.
So this is something that I say all the time. All my friends, we say, "What's the tea?" So you're talking to your friends, you say, "Hey, what's the tea?" or "What's the tea with that?"
That's like, what's the gossip? What's the
exactly.
Like stirring the tea, kind of. Yeah.
Yes,
stirring
stirring the pot is definitely a big one.
Exactly.
Another one is bodied. So like we're like, that's bodied, or you're bodied.
Yeah. Or our plans tonight are bodied.
Yeah. So like, what do you think that means?
I'm just guessing it from like your intonation and the way you said it. Like our plans are like, I don't know, good, fun. It's gonna be like
opposite. It means they're done. Oh. Yeah. So it's like, so like your body, like you're done.
You're canceled.
Oh, okay.
And there are also some things that like, I hope that we're not the only ones that say this in the United States.
That would be really weird.
That would be very embarrassing. We might be shedding some light on us, which would be a little nervous. Okay, you're next.
I'll start using it from now on.
There you go. That would be amazing. International.
I have a question. Do you know what a stan is? STAN?
Like or is it you're a stan?
Yeah,
or we stan?
you can be a stan.
Okay.
This is like a Gen Z quiz, I feel, more than like an American, like UK, US one. Like a super fan, like a
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean, I guess she is reporter, so she's killing it. What about,
I also just spend it all day on Twitter and TikTok. So I'm not like actually cool whatsoever. I just follow people that are.
Yeah. Let's go back to that. You're on TikTok?
Well, I'm like I don't produce anything on TikTok. I just look.
Yeah, it's a very fun place. It's a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know what yeet means? Like, what's a good sentence for that?
I'm about to yeet this off the balcony. Like yeet it.
Yeet. Like.
I'm gonna. Is it like get rid of? Like.
Yeah, just throw away.
Throw it out. Yeah.
And it's like very aggressive.
Yeah.
Like yeet is like when you're on it. All right. You got one?
Yeah. Obviously you know what slay means.
Right?
Like,
slay.
Yeah.
Okay. Love that.
A drip. If you have drip.
Like drip. This is drip.
Kay's got some drip on her ears.
This is drip. Oh, wrong ear. This is drip. Do you know what drip would mean?
Like, no. I'm thinking, I was like, is it?
It's like style.
Fashionable clothes.
Wow, I guess we say some weird things
we do.
In America.
Do you have anything that
I
wouldn't know?
I want to hear some UK slang that you guys use.
Oh gosh, I didn't prepare this. Let me think. I always, so as I was saying, like I've basically always worked for US companies, so I always get pulled up on like putting like Britishisms into my copy, like particularly when I was writing like a column and it was a bit more kind of laid back. I'd often put British things in and not realize that they were British. And now I'm really struggling to think
No worries. We didn't mean to put you on the spot. I know that there's some fun ones over there. I'm trying to think. I can't even think.
I mean, I live in East London, which is like it's famous for its Cockney rhyming slang. Have you heard of that?
Okay, all right.
I'll have to look it up.
Is that where Adele's from? Where's Adele?
I wonder if she's either from East London or Essex.
Essex, that's where she's from. That's where.
Okay.
She is from Essex.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah, that sounded right.
It's not far away. It's like further kind of northeast.
So you travel a bunch, correct? So where?
Before COVID.
Before COVID, clearly. Yeah.
Right now I travel like from my bed to the sofa. That's
same.
About as far
that's
as I
exactly what we do. Maybe the fridge. We'll throw the fridge in a couple times.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Maybe our balcony.
Many visits.
Maybe, but sometimes we don't even see the outside. Hate to say that, but it's weird times. Before COVID, where were some fun places that you traveled to that you absolutely loved?
So one place that I just love Italy. Everything about Italy, the language, the food, the people, the football, like everything. So I went a few years ago to Sicily and stayed in Palermo, which is like the capital of Sicily, which is on the northwest of the island, and kind of pitched there and then explored other parts of the island like throughout the week for about 10 days. And it's so cool and kind of quirky. One of the things they have, which perhaps should probably be more famous than it is, they have this catacombs there. So they basically have, you go in, the whole place just smells of death and like musty. And there are literally thousands of embalmed corpses and mummies, like dating back hundreds of years. But some of them as recent as like 1920. And some are better preserved than others. Like they literally, you can still see the clothes that they're wearing, and like they're all like dressed in their Sunday best, and some of them are in kind of poses, like families could all hold hands. And there's like you walk around and you're like inches away from them, and there's nothing really kind of protecting them, I suppose, apart from however they've been preserved. And there's this you kind of get led up to this incredibly well preserved like small child in a glass case, and it's just so freaky because she died in like 1920, and it's just super freaky. It's kind of doll like, but then you're like, oh shit, that's an actual dead body. It's very odd. Very macabre.
Are they like in the rock of like the inside of the catacomb, or are they like in a glass case? Or
they're not, so that they're they're not even, they're just kind of like hung up on the wall or like just positioned. They're not, the only thing that's in the glass case is the girl. That's
wow.
It's very bizarre. It's really cheap as well.
That's on my
and there's just lots of cool things to do. That being the weirdest one.
There's some other catacombs. I think they made a movie on it.
Oh, they're in Paris.
Yes.
Yeah, they're famous. The underground ones.
Yes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
People like partying. Have you seen that?
That's weird. Yeah.
They like rave.
Don't people live there as well? I swear there's like a group of
people like live there and party in there. Like raves. Like underground rave parties. I have seen that on Twitter and stuff.
That's insane. So you love Italy. So that's
yeah.
Been there once. I went on a spring break trip. So we went around to Rome. And Rome. We went somewhere else in Italy, and I can't remember. Venice. No,
oh, okay.
Yeah, Venice. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Where else do you love to travel?
Honestly, Italy. I just want to visit every last kind of inch of that place. A lot of places that I travel is kind of mostly for work, so it's just going to and from kind of New York or San Francisco or Vegas. Not that they're necessarily my favorite place to visit. They're just the places that I visit most often.
Fair enough.
I love Berlin. Berlin's very quirky. It's very kind of me. Lots of cool street art and music, and it's just so laid back and relaxed. It's very.
I've heard plenty of that it's just very slow paced, kind of chill. Where is one place that you want to go or want to travel to that you haven't?
I mean, just so many places. I mean, this one's kind of quite basic, but Iceland. Just every time I see the famous Instagram picture that everyone puts up of being in the Blue Lagoon, I'm just like, I want to do that. I want to take the basic photo and do it and go on a sledge ride.
I can't wait for COVID to be over and start traveling again. Right. I miss it so much.
Yeah.
And I always say, and I'm, don't know always what I'm talking about, but I suggest anybody listening to this right now, like, go out and travel after COVID. If you can, go out and travel. It's so amazing. You get to learn all about the world, and wherever you are right now, there's a lot bigger places that you don't know of or have never been. So I love that. Go travel, Do you have any advice of people starting to travel internationally? Because I know you do that all the time, or even tips or tricks for traveling internationally, or even just to Italy. Do you have any tips or anything?
I don't know. One thing is, like, work out the public transport and how that works before you go, rather than just turning up at like a railway station and not knowing the language and then just looking up at this board and being like baffled by it. That's always super helpful.
Looking like a tourist, pretty much.
Yeah. that's the thing I always try, like, really, really hard not to do, but I'm incredibly pale, so often I just I give it away from the outset. So
I feel you. I'm in the same boat. Now, kind of diving back, I know we're kind of all over the place, so I apologize, but diving back into a little bit more of your career, do you have any advice for someone that's graduating university or graduating college that is starting out in this reporter journalism role? Like, what advice do you have for them?
So some advice, I want to start with the caveat that I feel like uncomfortable dishing out advice, mostly because I never follow my own. So like, do as I say, not as I do. And don't try to like call me up on it. Just accept that I'm not perfect. From like, if it's specifically to like reporting, there's a lot of very just like useful apps and things like that out there. Okay. Like there's an app called Otter, and it's honestly life-saving. So I used to spend hours and hours transcribing or like listening back to an entire 30-minute interview to make sure I got the quote just right. And this app, they actually just started charging, which is unfortunate, but it is so good. It's worth the money. But it basically it will automatically transcribe the conversation that you're having with somebody. But not only that, it timestamps it. So you can just flick straight to the bit in the audio. Like the transcriptions, yeah. Wow. So like the transcription can sometimes be a bit like weird, like if the recording's bad or someone has a strange accent or not a strange, it doesn't pick up, you know what I mean? Yeah, like exactly. It doesn't pick up very well.
You want to be able to rehear that too.
Yeah, so it's really, that's just vital. Also, if you Google percentage calculator and go to the first site, I think it's percentagecalculator.net. You never have to work out percentages. Love that. It does it all for you.
I don't know how to manually do that, and I don't know how to do that in my head, so that's amazing.
That takes so much work off your head.
But like, my favorite is when, I don't know if you were the same going into, school and stuff, where they're like, you're not going to have a calculator on you 24/7. And I'm like, no, I am. I do. I'm okay, guys. Like, I got it. Like, we're good. But that's funny that you say that. What is it again? Percentage?
So percentage calculator. I think it's .net. It's the first thing that shows up on Google, and it just has like little boxes. So it's like X is what percentage bigger than X. Yeah, you just type it. It just does everything for you. Everything that you possibly want from a percentage calculator. It's there, and it's free.
What is that other transcribing app called again?
Otter, like spelt like the animal. It's really, really useful. I think for the first hour a month or something, it's free, and then you have to pay after that. But it's like
worth the money. That's something that we should look into too.
I mean, I can totally see how that would help somebody in the reporting industry as well, because it takes a lot of time off your hands from having to sit there and listen when you can just read it quick and get your quote and write
timestamp
what you need to write.
And speaking of kind of interviewing people, how did you get, and I don't know the reporting industry that well, but how do you get connected to people to report with or to interview with? And I know that a lot of that probably comes from the company that you're working for, but if someone's just kind of a freelancer, how would you recommend people like trying to connect or reach out is it LinkedIn? Is it Twitter? Is it, what would you recommend?
Yeah, I mean, funny enough, like, so pre-COVID, the best thing to do was like be out and be visible, like a lot. So go to a lot of events, be that person who asks the question at the end of the speech, that kind of thing. A lot of it, like a lot of the time when people want to speak to you, if they're speaking to you on the record, that is they want to speak to you because you'll make them look clever and smart and like good in their field. So you have to be able to demonstrate that you understand what it is they do. This is the reason why you want to speak to them, and here's why us working together, or me doing an interview of you, it would be a great use of your time.
Absolutely.
So it kind of it helps if you work for like a mainstream outlet, or just you have a body of work, which obviously I appreciate. If you're just starting out, you don't, but it's really about just demonstrating, also just that you've done the research into that person, and that you're not just like, I need some talking head and I've got like 30 minutes till my deadline kind of thing. So it's just demonstrating that you kind of like give a shit. I suppose it's just doing that, and like Twitter, LinkedIn. Like Twitter has been incredibly helpful. Like I found lots of contacts that way. And another thing is just making sure that your Twitter isn't just always self-promotion, I suppose. Like, get into interesting conversations with people, tweet interesting articles that you've read.
Some interesting content.
Your hot takes. Well, depending on within reason. All that kind of stuff, just to show that you're an expert, or at least that you're interested in the subject area that you're writing about, I suppose.
And I think that you touched on something super important, and it kind of goes hand in hand, is you need to build a personal brand too. And you need to, especially on Twitter, which I learned is you really have to not only share what's funny or whatever, but really build your brand, and people will contact you or whatnot. So if you are listening and you're starting out and you're senior in college, build your Twitter, but build it in mind of this kind of professional lens as well, and not just like, oh, I'm at a bar having a drink, or oh, like blah blah blah. Like, make sure that it's, if you want to have a fun Twitter, but also start building your personal brand, and get your feet started, because I think that's super important.
Exactly.
Especially nowadays when you kind of are thrown into this world outside of university or college, you're kind of just out there. So
and you also never know who can really click on your Twitter too.
Exactly.
Because what if someone comes to click for your Twitter and then they see all of this stuff that's not really what they want to be represented with?
Exactly.
And that's a loss of someone that you could have had a connection with, or an article with, an interview, something like that.
Yeah, I agree.
But we had a couple questions for you, just kind of, we were reading some of your articles. We were just kind of looking around. So you want to kick it off?
Yeah. So I believe this was on Digiday, and it was about ad spending. And you wrote an article about how ad spending was increasing through the pandemic. And you reported P&G, Amazon, Unilever, and a couple others. Do you think that other brands are taking after each other for this, or do you think that this is subject to each individual's brand advertising?
It's kind of, I guess it's sector by sector. Like if you're an airline, it probably doesn't make much sense to be throwing lots of money at TV ads at the moment, for example. There's a school of thought that says that you should kind of keep advertising even through the bad times, because then people will remember your brand when they're ready to go and buy your products or services again. But it kind of doesn't make any sense if you're like losing money by the bucket load, because you literally cannot offer the same service. So there's some I guess what happened was, at the start of the pandemic, most marketers basically just panicked, and they were like, what on earth do I do? I've never seen anything like this before. This isn't right. It's like a health crisis mixed with an economic crisis, and you don't know how long it's going to last.
Exactly.
So at first everyone was just like, panic. And then obviously some brands have done really well out of it. If you sell hand sanitizer and soap and cleaning products like Unilever and P&G do, you're in a strong place. Actually, they had their issues were more about it was like supply. Basically, they had to suddenly kind of produce these products in a at a fashion that they've never had to do at such speed before.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really different every single kind of sector, I'd say. So if there are brands that are similar, so like Unilever and P&G will always kind of be doing a similar thing, then I guess what happened was, so everyone did like the panic thing, and a lot of people cut their spending because they were affected negatively. Their sales were down. So like Coca-Cola, you'd think would be doing okay because they can still sell in supermarkets and grocery stores, but they lost all of their restaurant trade and all of their stadiums and bars. So they clearly had to make some cuts.
Absolutely.
Now what's happened is obviously things are reopening, but also people have just had time to kind of regroup and work out what they need to do and what a sensible level is of advertising again. Also, towards the end of the year is always when advertisers spend the most. It's holiday season. Also, there's like, this is getting a bit too in the weeds, but basically you kind of like, you have to, there's like a use it or lose it around your budget a lot of the time if you're a marketer. Like if you don't spend it all by the end of the year, then we'll just reduce your budget next year to whatever you spent. So like the idea is just like, let's just throw everything out and see what sticks. So yeah, I'd say that the advertising, that was a really long answer, but the advertising spending across the board is, will certainly be up compared to say March or April.
Do you have any projections on how the industry is going to go the rest of the year? Like, are we going to just keep seeing these webinars after webinars or these virtual events? Like, how do you see the industry going within the next couple of months? I mean, again, COVID, we don't know what's going to happen. It might disappear tomorrow. It might, shut everything back down. But in your expertise, what do you expect or predict is going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, obviously just the caveat that I'm not like a virologist or anything.
Yeah,
but
no, of course.
I think as we were talking like before we started recording, London, I'm in London right now. London's gone back into a lockdown again. Joe Biden has said that, he started a COVID task force, and, it's likely that he'll bring in more restrictions in the US once he comes into office in January. So
we hope so.
Yeah, it would be super helpful considering the case numbers over there. But we've seen, even in countries that were doing kind of relatively well, so to speak, like Germany, like that they're having to put lockdown restrictions on again. So it's just, unfortunately, it's unpredictable. Also, what's happening, and it's kind of like a slow build, is just the sheer amount of job losses, and then the effect that's going to have on the economy, and then that stretches, and then that has like an impact on lots of different things if spending's down. So yeah, I just can't see, I can't see conferences starting in a big way. I can't really see international business travel returning to the level that it was for a long time, all that kind of stuff. So I think we're in for like a rocky few months. I think it's not as bad as people were predicting at the very beginning, when it was just like this, people were predicting this like cliff edge and just we were all going to fall into the abyss, and it wasn't like quite as awful.
The end of it.
It's certainly not over.
Absolutely.
And then I just had one more question for you.
Okay.
Again, I read another one of your articles. I love your work, by the way.
Yeah, I will say we're fangirling a little bit. We had to take a couple of deep breaths before we got on here, because we're like, okay,
so sweet.
Right.
This is big news. Okay. So just a quick side note.
I'm a huge Instagram fanatic.
Yep.
It's my place.
Yep.
You wrote an article about influencers and their marketing posts, and how now they have to be disclosed to their following. And you said that Instagram has a technology that discovers whether an advertisement was ever disclosed or not.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if you could expand a little bit on that and what that really means to both the marketer and the influencer and their audience.
Basically, whenever it comes to anything that like Instagram or Facebook, or I mean, Facebook owns Instagram, but any of the social companies, whenever it comes down to like their AI or their algorithm, using machine learning to detect stuff, they never give too much information away about how it actually works, because they don't want people to second guess it and try and get around it and do workarounds. So they don't really say how it works. I mean, the obvious thing is they'd probably just look for like keywords of brands in the captions, that kind of thing, and then they'd go through and maybe do some manual checks after they'd done that like initial scouring. But they never really give you too much information on exactly what it is. But I'm sure you've seen it loads of times. Just influencers are blatantly peddling something. Like there's no way that I don't know, like protein powder just happens to appear in like 9 out of every 10 shots that they put up there. Like there's a lot of it going on, and it's a real kind of, it's a really weird like underground market too, because like a lot of the deals are just it's all conducted over like DM, and you know, they just like Venmo the fee or the PayPal.
Like secure thing,
right?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting too, and you said that about kind of being in the frames. I see it happening on TikTok a lot with a certain energy drink. I won't mention who, but it's like these influencers, and they just hold it, and it's never like a paid sponsorship with or anything.
Yeah.
And I'm watching it as a marketer. I'm like, come on. Like this isn't even like, this isn't clever. Like you're not clever with your marketing
and
right
there's
now.
There's definitely a better way they can sell to that target audience than just a TikToker holding a drink and doing a little dance. It's just a little, it's just a little bit weird.
It's a little weird. Do you think that influencers will do this? Like they will? I mean, I know that they're supposed to, but do you think that this will change the dynamic of paid sponsorships on Instagram at all, or do you think it's gonna continue to grow, or to kind of stay the same?
I think it will continue to grow. I don't know, like whether it will. I can't see this dampening it at all. I mean, if anything, it's a good thing to you know, stamp out anything that is deceptive to users. So, and ultimately, you know, that's better for brands. That's better for the influencers themselves.
Cleaner, almost.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, you're never going to build a trusted following if you get found out for being the influencer that didn't disclose you were paid for a post. So there's really like very little upside in it. So I think anything that just encourages people to be more transparent is a good thing. It might be like initially people might think, oh God, if I disclose it's, you know, it's a paid for product and people won't pay attention to the post, it won't be as effective. But there's not really much evidence saying that's the case.
Yeah. Well, really quick, something that I warned you about that we didn't do it off the episode is a cheers. So I think do a virtual cheers.
Let's do a virtual cheers.
You know,
with my coffee.
with our coffee. With
Cheers.
I have an empty water glass, but
love that.
The spirit's there.
But we just wanted to say thank you so much for coming on. This was
thank you.
A blast, and I know that you're very busy, so I appreciate you setting some time aside for us. And thank you again. Is there anything you want to say? Anything? Last words, last remarks?
I just want to say thank you so much for inviting me on. This has been really, really good fun.
Oh, wow.
She was fantastic.
That was so exciting. I'm like shaking.
She is such a cool person to talk
to. Guys, a queen.
Please go follow her.
A queen. Yeah, speaking of, let me pull up her Twitter right now because everyone should go follow her.
And her Twitter will be linked in our description as well.
Yeah, Twitter will be linked. Her Twitter is LARAKIARA. So go follow her, show her some support.
Go read up on her as well.
And go read some articles, man. We will link some of her articles in our description.
She writes amazing.
She's the best.
She knows what she's fucking talking about,
guys, she's the best. Like, literally, like, she's the best of the best. So we were very honored to have her on the podcast.
It's very cool.
And I'm very excited. So, you know, I hope everybody enjoyed this week's episode. Again, look forward to Happy Hour with JK coming soon.
Stay tuned for that, please.
And then
there will be more info about that soon.
Yes, stay tuned. Follow us on our socials and whatnot. Again, IDK with JK. And then just to kind of give you a little teaser.
Ooh, a little teasy tease. Come on, teasies.
Next week's episode.
What, Kay? What are we doing?
I want everyone to be prepared because some tears may be shed. It will be discussing our coming out stories.
Yeah.
We have two very different stories.
Oh my God, do we ever?
Like complete polar opposite stories. So, you know, that's going to be one that's, you want to know who we are.
you're going to find out who the fuck episode. We are.
Yeah. So stay tuned, and we will see you guys next week.
I love you guys.
Bye, everybody.